Right now, the money I make via tips is literally the money that pays for everything. So, groceries, utilities, health insurance. The money I'm making behind the scenes from things like Twitch, that goes to pay mortgage, the car payment, the ongoing costs of living, etc.
Welcome to the adult world, Phil. How many times over the years have you heard stuff like this? Well, it's all about to go away with this rant that Phil just did, because he's been successful the past 5 years. In fact, his streaming career has been the better alternative than any of you schlubs out there that are working a 9-to-5 job that you could lose at any second. I know I sound crazy, but watch the video.
How did COVID affect the 10-year plan? All right, real fast, I'll address this, okay?
Now, before I play the rant, this person didn't say anything negative. I say this because it's not an obvious troll or LARP. They're just looking for an update about something that DSP had previously talked about. You could chalk this up to being a longtime fan.
In 2019, I went back to Connecticut to visit my parents and also to get married at the same time. At that time, things were very different in my life, all right? I wasn't doing well financially at all. Things were falling apart. I couldn't afford to pay off any of the debt that I had, and it was all ballooning and becoming unmanageable to the point where I was afraid of losing everything. At that point, with my mother, I was speaking with her, and we talked about a 10-year plan to get out of being this as my job because things were going so poorly, okay? And the idea was that I would kind of do phases, different phases of things, that maybe within like 5 years, I would have, be doing part-time streaming, part-time another job on the side, and then eventually I could transition out of the streaming to the IRL stuff. The thing was, back then, things were very different.
Phil, it's been 5 years, and COVID is over for the most part. Everybody's back to work. Remote jobs are few and far in between again.
Okay. What ended up happening was COVID happened. And when COVID happened, the world changed. And what ended up happening was, as you've seen, online-based things became way more realistic, prominent, stable. In real life stuff actually fell through. Like, for example, if, thank God, I hadn't just decided to quit this cold turkey and get a job in real life, because I probably would have lost my job during COVID.
So I've gone through and I've compiled some clips ranging from 2020 to 2024 about the time that he met Kino Casino. You're not going to see one clip talk about how he needs to pay his bills, because ever since COVID hit, this was the option. This was the better move for him. He started making money during COVID. He started doing well. I would argue that he's been doing so well, I don't even understand why people are still trolling him. He's been doing well for 5 years now. All right, let's take a look.
You can't do that with streaming. With streaming, you have to be here live, which is why I don't have opportunity to go do things. Like I just said, go to PAX or whatever. I can't. I have to be here every day streaming or I don't make money. And I have to be here every day to make money or else I can't pay my bills. So...
Does that sound worse than a real job that gives you vacation time, sick time, the ability to feel comfortable and go out and do things and not have to be in front of a camera every day? I don't know.
I did the math earlier this week, and according to the math that I did, I need to hit the tips goals both times, and then I would clear the $800 of the bills that I have, and then I could afford Mario on top of it. If I don't, I could buy Mario, and then one of my bills is not going to clear, which is not good. So no, I have to get both tips goals, or else I'm going to be short. And then we've got the second factor. There's no rush to go to YouTube, because even if I went to YouTube today, that wouldn't help me in the short term. The help that I need has to come within 10 days so I can pay my bills. The help that YouTube would give me would be long-term support. Maybe in a month or two I'd see a benefit. I wouldn't get it now. So there's no point in rushing to YouTube. There's no benefit at all. None. On Monday or Tuesday, potentially I may not get paid for another week. I've got all these month-end bills coming up. And that sucks ass. And there's nothing that can really be done. It's not your fault. It's certainly not my fault. It's not YouTube's fault, I guess. I mean, I wish that they would be able to pay on time, but it is what it is. So this week, if you want to help me, please tip me. Any tips that I raise are going to basically give me a cushion, so I'm not worried that if this payment doesn't come through from YouTube, that now I can't pay my bills. Okay? So please, if you can, please tip me this week. I'm not saying you have to. And I'm not saying, hey, go out of your way crazy to tip the streams to support them. I'm just saying tips would be preferred because it would give me a little bit of breathing space to say, okay, I don't have to worry that even if the payment doesn't come through on Monday or Tuesday, that I'm screwed now come Wednesday because I can't pay my bills. They're making shit up. They're fabricating things to try to create a narrative that doesn't exist, but they still talk about it so much, and they've been talking about it for so many years that people just believe it because they're stupid. Okay? No contributions raised today are going towards any fucking mobile game. They're all going towards my bills for this week. I really appreciate you guys making this such a very supportive stream because I needed the help this week, and this is a great start to the week. Okay? So thank you to the Kurt Russell for a $20 tip. I really appreciate that, and thanks for being here. All right, guys, that's it for Batman Return to Arkham. And that was it. You know, like I told you guys, I feel like if right now I did a special fundraising marathon event to get a new PC, you guys would fund it. I almost feel like it's a given because you guys have been so supportive with me over the years. I totally appreciate that, and I know you would probably say, hey, Phil's going to get a new PC, better quality video, better quality webcam eventually, maybe some new effects, maybe he can game on PC. This is cool. Let's do it. I get the feeling people would do it right now. But here's what would happen. Then people would say, well, I supported that new PC, but now I can't support his normal streams anymore. So now for the next month, what would happen? I get a surge of increased income to buy the PC. I'd buy it, and then for the next month, I can't pay my bills because I can't get the support that I need just to get by. So if I'm going to do this, we have to set it up in a way that I'm already going to get some kind of increase in my income, so that's not negating the fundraiser. So here's how I think it could work. Perhaps during those months of the year when already I'm going to be receiving increased income from YouTube for ad revenue. Those are the months of October, November, and December, which then would pay out, say, November, December, January, as long as I don't play games where the music gets claimed. I have to emphasize this in a huge way because that's what happened last year. Last year, I should have gotten a lot more ad revenue than I did because during those months of October, November, and December, YouTube is paying tons of extra money for holiday ads. They're advertising. Anyway, so, ladies and gents, that is what's going on. Please, guys, support the streams today. You guys know the ways to do it. You know that tips help me more than anything right now to afford all these new games. Plus, because the YouTube payment's going to be delayed this weekend, it would be great to have some tips to help me make up for that and pay my bills over the next few days. So please consider tipping if you can. Another way, a great way you can help right now, memberships. Yeah, we are down, I'm not kidding, 200 memberships. Ouch. Yeah, that hurts. It's basic functionality. I don't need anything crazy, you know, but I got to get one, and I got to get it within a week so I could do my bills for the end of the month and all this shit. So I had to do all that, and I'm like, well, this sucks, right? It is what it is. And so it's coming today, but it's like more money I have to spend. Like I told you guys, things are tight, and especially with this event coming up tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm ordering food. I bought a bunch of booze while I was out to be for tomorrow, which we're going to talk about in a second. I'll tell you all about it when we talk about tomorrow's marathon. So I got that I spent money on. You know, I got to buy games. Today I have to buy the Grinch game and whatever other game wins the poll for Saturday, which I don't know yet, to keep doing this. If you think that the Throwback channel's funny and the React channel's funny and the stuff I do on this channel is a comedy, you know, riot, why are you hindering my ability to make the content? What you're doing is counterproductive. It makes no fucking sense. It just proves you're an idiot, right? So it sucks, but, you know, what can you do? I wish I could fix it. I can't. You know, why am I bringing it up? Because this is real life shit that's affecting this stream and everything I do on YouTube. This is not some dumb troll behind the scenes and I can ignore it. This is something that's directly affecting everything publicly, and it sucks. Okay? So, please consider. What's funny is Zen Shuriken says, of course he's worried. That's thousands of dollars a year. Zen Shuriken, that's thousands of dollars a month. A month. That's what I mean. I just said I'm down 37%. That's thousands of dollars that I need to pay my bills that I'm not making now because of this idiot. Okay? Okay then. Goldfish says you should go on a vacation where you relax on a beach. I think it would be helpful. Oh, I do too. I mean, but how could I do that? I have to work. I can't not work because a day not worked is a day no money earned, and a day no money earned is a day I can't pay my bills, at least in the current state of how things are right now. Also, you know, I've talked about this too. One of the factors is, you know, we have a pet, Jasper. Literally, Jasper has always been with us. And so for us to be away from him would be a traumatic experience, because he's always had us as like his parents with him. You know, not every waking moment of every day, but you understand what I'm saying.
Doesn't this just sound like years of success to you? If you go on Pig Go and you search my bills, you'll see that DSP has mentioned my bills 1,216 times. There are 1,216 results for Phil mentioning his bills. Let that sink in. All right, and we're going to continue yesterday's rant. So back to the present.
And then I would have been asked out and lost everything. Okay. So since over 6 years ago, tons of stuff has changed. I am way better off in my life. I'm, out of the rut and the problems that I had. And things have turned around so much better for me that there is no 10-year plan. There's no reason for it. My life is much better. My content has turned around. I'm way more profitable. Everything's good.
What are you morons talking about? It's not the last 11 months that changed my life. It's the last 5 years, ever since COVID hit. I've been successful. What are you talking about? That's how this is going to get retconned. It's not like Kino Casino got this guy a huge influx of money and viewers, right?
So idiots who bring that up are actual fucking morons.
All right, Erebus. Remember, you're a moron, dude. Why'd you bring that up? You're an actual moron. Come on. But you notice how Phil is becoming completely unhinged when this guy just asked that simple question. This is the problem, though. And it could be mental illness, but he'll go on a tirade like this. You could start a question off very nice, but somehow Phil will work in the trolls. I mean, the source of his anger becomes apparent. He lets you know that he's angry, and he goes on a tirade of swearing and yelling at viewers. Like, you're actually calling this guy on the screen right now that asked that question a moron, because you just looped him into your argument.
Who actually think that when you're down in life, that you're down forever, that there's no possible way that things could improve, that things could change, that everything is just completely like that for an infinite amount of time. And it may just be my best run ever. The problem was there was almost no support. And that really sucked. Like, I think people were watching, people were here engaging, but by the end of the night, I only had about $40. Crazy enough. Almost no support. By the end of the stream, we had $29 and there was only like 20 minutes left to go. And also, okay, are we actually going to go all night with no support from Kick? Seriously? I wonder if we actually will go all night and have zero support from Kick. I'm just wondering. That is a simpleton's childlike way of thinking. It is borderline obsession, almost like autistic thought, where, oh, it was that way, so therefore it's always that way, and therefore 10-year plan, 10-year plan, 10-year plan, 10-year plan. So that's what's happened is ever since I brought this up with you guys 6 years ago and I revealed to you that I had this discussion with my mother.
So then shut up and stop bringing these things up, because they're going to get brought up later, Phil.
There's people who are hyper fixated on the fact that Darkside Phil said he made a 10-year plan with his mom to transition out of streaming and become a normal person again, basically with no internet presence. The opposite has happened. My internet presence has gotten better. I'm more profitable. Things are positive now. Things are much better now for me than they have been pretty much ever. So when people say dumb stuff like, you're e-begging and you ask for contributions, yes, I do. Because when I do, people say, oh yeah, that's right. I'm watching a stream. I'm getting good content. I want to support that. And then they do. If I don't bring it up, I don't get support. You get it? So there's no way I would transition out of doing this. This is the most stable thing I have ever done, and I'm not going to transition out of it. It would be dumb for me to do so because right there outside of my house, the job market has become way worse in 6 years. I would be worse off going out there now and having a life doing that than what I'm doing here. Do you see? But these people are so absolutely insane. Mania, hyper-focused, hyper-obsessed. They can't get off the fact that 6 years ago, I said I was going to do a 10-year plan to change my life. And like, well, you didn't do it. You fell through. You didn't. No, I didn't need to because things got better.
Phil, don't make me play the 2020 through 2024 clips again.
I worked so hard. I found a way to turn things around. I got through the hard times. Things are good. Why would I quit? I'd be a fucking moron.
But you don't get that because you're a miserable wretch who doesn't understand it because you can't accept the fact that I'm doing well and you're not.
Yeah, Erebus, way to go, you miserable wretch. I can't even say with a straight face. Like, who is he yelling at?
That's not on me. That's on the idiots of the internet who can't deal with reality. Okay?
All right, and we got Phil looking like a Seinfeld character. So this clip's about his 10-year plan as recent as August 26, 2024. And then the next clip after that's even older. It's from November 24th, 2022. All right, let's see what he's going to say.
Of personal information on the guy's stream, which he never should have done. They immediately go right back to the same shtick about Phil, the 10-year plan. 10-year plan stopped being pertinent in 2020. 4 years ago, I said, there's no 10-year plan now because COVID changed everything. This is now better than any other job I could have. I'm going to continue with this. I'm going to diversify and get better at this rather than worrying about, I'm beholden to my detractors and shit, right? But that's it. I've said that publicly several times. They don't care. Admittedly, this gaming season, we've seen a plateau, right? Where we're not seeing any influx of new viewers or anything for new releases anymore. But at least it doesn't mean I'm going out of business, right? So the 10-year plan originally was, hey, within 10 years of 2019, let's make it that you no longer are doing this for a living as a YouTuber. You've got a brick and mortar job. COVID ruined all of that. Because if anything COVID showed us, nothing is for real. Nothing at any point, this whole, brick and mortar shit could just go away.
And what you're doing now, could it? Remember Machinima? Remember the adpocalypse? What if you got kicked off YouTube and Kick right now? I mean, any of these situations that you're applying to the real world could be applied to you tenfold.
Any sickness, anything could just shut everything down. So you can't rely on that. Okay? And by the way, I would have to do brick and mortar like retail jobs and stuff. No one's going to pick me up in an office. I've been out of the industry since 2010. Who the hell's going to pick me up for like a customer support job or anything in the helicopter or aviation industry? No one. I've been out of the job for too long. You see? So basically, that's out. There's no way I could do an in-person job and be successful because that's just not what I've experienced it anymore. But what the 10-year plan has essentially evolved into is within 10 years, diversify myself enough on the internet that now I'm not just the gamer guy anymore, right? Now I'm known for other things, right? You can watch my podcast. You can come to a React event. You could see Phil do other shit and not even care about the gameplay, and that's all well and good. And maybe because of that, there'll actually be some potential for growth as opposed to, it's just Phil sitting here playing games all day and he'll never grow, right? So that's really the new 10-year plan, even though it's not new. And we're essentially 3 years into that plan. This year was a huge year for me for that, okay? And yes, there'll be more in the future that I'm going to be talking about very soon. Some plans in particular for next year, some announcements that I have, some new stuff coming that I think you guys are going to really like. I'm not sure exactly how 100% how it's going to be implemented yet, but I've got things in the works for 2023 based on a lot of things that have happened this year that I think you guys particularly are going to really enjoy. Okay? So, I'll let you know more about that as we get closer to it. But as of now, yes, the plan is in effect and diversification is in effect. And it's not always just going to be about Phil playing games moving forward. That's failing. Let's be honest. There's an audience for it. I love doing it. I'm going to keep doing it. But that can't just be what I do forever. We've got to diversify. And I'm working on that right now.
At least Phil is taking control of his business now. He's leading it in the right direction. He's taking people's advice. And he's treating his viewers that give him money a lot more respectful. Let's take a look at a recent clip up to this week, June 2025.
And this is hilarious because this is nonsense. It's complete nonsense, and you know it is. So let's read it anyway and have a good laugh together. I'm a big fan, but I watched some X clips. You need to improve on begging, wasteful spending, diet, and overreacting. I don't have to do anything. The things you're begging. I can ask for contributions whenever I want on my own stream, and I can conduct myself however I want, and you'll like it. Too bad. That's my prerogative, and you have no right to try to boss me around and tell me what to do, because you're not my dad, and you're not my boss. I'm my boss. Get it, Chief? Okay. How about wasteful spending? I can spend my money however I want. Right now, I could literally blow thousands of dollars on nothing, and you'll like it because it's my money. It's not your business. Deal with it, Chief. All right. Diet. I can eat whatever the fuck I want because it's my life, not yours. Therefore, deal with it. I can shove delicious Takis encrusted chicken sandwiches into my mouth on stream and you'll watch it and you'll like it. Get it, Chief? You don't get to boss me around because I'm nobody's bitch. I don't know where you thought this was coming from, that this is going to go well for you. It's not. I can do and say whatever I please, and people will watch it and like it and support it, and you will still be sitting there miserable because you were sitting and watching clips on X. Thanks. Okay.
That's all I got for this one, y'all. Drop a comment, leave a like if you made it this far. Appreciate y'all. And remember this one, folks. Phil doesn't listen to anybody except for his daddy at 43 years old. Peace.
And you have no right to try to boss me around and tell me what to do, because you're not my dad. You're not my dad. You're not my dad. You're not my dad. You're not my dad.